Pi Network just secured a partnership that could completely change the game for this project, and I'm not exaggerating when I say experts are calling this real progress. Meanwhile, Pi is quietly outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum in the short term. So what's really going on here? Let's dive in. As you can see in this article, the Pi development team is saying this partnership will expand the real-world use cases of Pi by providing clear support for game developers to build at scale. Think about what that means. This gives pioneers, that's what Pi Network calls its users, new opportunities to spend, earn, and interact with Pi across multiple gaming titles. We're not just talking about one game here, we're talking about an entire library of games where Pi becomes the native currency for payments, rewards, and transactions. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The core team said, and I quote from the article, Pi has partnered with CiDi Games because gaming fits perfectly in the network ecosystem, and gaming is a vertical Pi has already been continuously cultivating in its ecosystem. So this isn't some random pivot. This has been part of the plan all along, and now they're executing on it. And check this out, Dr. Altcoin, who's a well-known Pi analyst, reacted to this news and said the partnership should have happened years ago. He called it, quote, meaningful progress. When analysts who've been following a project closely start saying things like, that you need to pay attention, this isn't just hype, this is validation. Let's take a look at what Pi has already been doing in gaming. Over the past years, the network has been building the foundations for a gaming blockchain ecosystem through Media Group Developer Hackathon event, programmers coding at laptops in co-working space, group brainstorming blockchain Appa stock, a distribute car equally, developer hackathons, built-in game integrations, and monetization features. They've been making it easier for creators to actually release titles. We've already seen examples like Fruity Pie, which integrated the Pi Wallet and Pi Ad network. In September, there was Pi Online's Genesis Farm, which is a farming-based game with integrated DeFi capabilities. So the infrastructure has been building, and now CiDi Games is coming in to supercharge that development. With CiDi Games on board, we're looking at a whole library of Pi-powered titles where everything, payments, rewards, transactions, runs on Pi. This is utility, folks. Real, tangible utility. And in crypto, utility drives value. Period. Now, let's talk about what this has done to the price, because the market is responding. According to CoinGape, over the last 24 hours, the Pi price has appreciated more than 2%, and it's up over 10% within the month. The market cap has crossed the $2 billion mark once again. $2 billion. That's not small potatoes anymore. And here's another huge development that the article mentions. Pi Network was just onboarded into the European Union's MiCA regulatory framework. For those who don't know, MiCA is the Markets in Crypto Assets regulation, and being compliant with it could pave the way for Pi's entry into broader European markets. That's massive for legitimacy and adoption. Plus, Pi Network Ventures has been extending the ecosystem's reach by investing in OpenMind and dedicating 350,000 nodes for AI through that partnership. They're playing chess while others are playing checkers. If you're finding value in this breakdown, do me a favor and smash that like button. It helps the algorithm push this video to more people who need to see it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Let's keep building this community together. Alright, now let's flip to the second article, this one from Block News, because we need to talk about the other side of this coin, literally. The headline here is pretty straightforward. Pi coin outperforms Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here is why the rally could fade soon. So we've got the good news with the partnership, but now we need to understand the technical picture and whether this rally has legs. According to Block News, Pi coin has quietly become one of the market's strongest performers, outpacing even Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP in short-term momentum. Over the last few weeks, it's carved out gains across almost every time frame, rising more than 9% over both the weekly and bi-weekly periods. Even though last month's downturn left PI down about 7.7%, the token's ability to bounce from its November 5th low near 20 cents and reclaim the 24-cent region has turned heads across the market. So, what's fueling this rebound? Well, the article points out a few things working together here. First, the broader crypto recovery, driven mostly by Bitcoin's rebound from the $82,000 region back toward $87,000, gave smaller assets some breathing room. When Bitcoin dips and then recovers, altcoins often follow with even stronger percentage moves. Dip buyers stepped in aggressively as BTC hit multi-month lows, and PI benefited from that renewed appetite for risk. At the same time, as you can see here, Pi Network's internal upgrades have been drawing attention. The revamped Pi App Studio has made the platform's development tools easier to use and more capable. This has sparked speculation about a wave of new apps coming to the ecosystem, which could eventually bring more users into the Pi network. More users means more demand for the token. It's basic economics. But here's where we need to be real with ourselves. The article raises an important question. Will the Pi coin rally sustain or slow down? And this is where things get a little tricky. The author notes that sentiment is still very fragile across the entire market, and most large-cap tokens are showing early signs of consolidation again. Pi coin may end up following that behavior, especially with its price now sitting right at short-term resistance levels. Let's talk about what that means. Without stronger inflows or a major catalyst from Pi network itself, PI could slip into a sideways pattern or even correct lower over the next few days. The rally has been solid, but as the article says, the market beneath it hasn't fully stabilized yet. We're in a period where enthusiasm is high, but the underlying structure still feels a bit shaky. The Block News piece concludes by saying Pi coin's recent momentum proves investors aren't ignoring the project, which is true. But its next move will likely depend on whether the broader recovery continues or stalls out again. If Bitcoin keeps pushing higher and development activity on Pi accelerates, which, given the CiDi Games partnership seems likely, the token could grind upward. If not, this run might fade just as quickly as it arrived. So here's my take after reading both of these articles. Pi Network is making legitimate progress. The CiDi Games partnership is exactly the kind of real-world utility development that separates serious projects from vaporware. The regulatory compliance in Europe, the AI partnerships, the gaming infrastructure, these are all building blocks for long-term value. However, in the short term, we're at a technical crossroads. The price is testing resistance, Bitcoin's recovery is still fragile, and broader market sentiment could shift quickly. For holders, this is actually encouraging news overall. For traders, you need to watch those key levels closely. If PI can break through current resistance with volume, we could see another leg up. If it fails here, expect consolidation or a retest of support around 20 cents. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Pi Network? Are you bullish on this CiDi Games partnership? Do you think PI can maintain this momentum, or are we due for a pullback? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love engaging with this community. If you got value from this video, please hit that like button, share it with your crypto friends who need to see this, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We're covering the crypto market every single day, bringing you the news and analysis you need to stay ahead. And remember, this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy who loves crypto and wants to share information with the community. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Thanks for watching Gold Rush Crypto Daily. Stay bullish, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.